Welcome to Business Prowess with Raphael and Dr. Andrea. Our show will bring you the best insights, ideas, and inspiration from successful entrepreneurs and CEOs in the business world. Don't miss out on the opportunity to learn from the best and stay ahead of the game. Sifu Raphael is the founder of 5 Unique Shows. He's a fitness professional, solutions expert, executive coach, and head instructor at Max Martial Arts and Fitness in New York. Dr. Andrea Adams-Miller is an award-winning international keynote speaker, best-selling author, and CEO of the Red Carpet Connection Publicity, Publishing, and Talent Agency, and CEO of IgniteYourRelationship.com. Known as the Dream Maker, she makes visionaries' dreams come true, bigger than they ever dare to desire.
Happy Friday. Thank you guys for joining us on Business Prowess. Bethany, Seth, thank you so much. How are you today?
Happy to be here.
Hey,
I'm doing great.
Yeah, I'm doing great. I have a sick kid in the other room, so hopefully I don't have to run away, but I'm doing well.
Excellent, excellent. And I'm exceptional, getting better every day. I am excited for our topic today, befriending change. Not a strange change, but just change. What does that mean? What does that mean to you, Bethany?
I actually really love this topic a lot because I think sometimes we are afraid of it. I think our default is fear a lot of the times. And because that is our default, whenever there is change, sometimes we don't embrace it. And sometimes we don't let it do all the wonderful things that change has the capacity of doing because of that fear. But there's so many times where the littlest change is what changes it all.
Yeah, absolutely. How about you, Seth?
Yeah, for me, change, right? I talk a lot about change and coach people through change also. And the biggest change in life is probably the last one, the change to death. And so in my practice, we talk a lot about mortality and what it means to be aware of mentality in a way that helps people go through those changes and transitions with more resilience and courage, and then also just have more clarity in general, right? But the way I think about it is if you can face your own death, and even, it sounds weird, but if you can befriend your own death, you can face and befriend anything you're going through.
Oh, that's interesting. Befriend your own death.
Yeah.
Would you say that people would never even consider such a thing because they are terrified of death?
Yeah.
Talk to us about that if you don't mind.
Okay. So the first time I heard this kind of call to befriend my own death, it did not sit well with me. I was like, no, like death is the worst. Excuse me. Why would I want to do that? And a friend and mentor, he is actually a retired theology professor. His name is Michael Christensen. And he was a student of Henry Nouwen, who was a famed Harvard and Notre Dame and Yale psychologist / priest. He was actually a Catholic priest. And he was the one who taught Michael, and then Michael taught me that this is something that's part of our calling in life, to be ready for all that's coming our way. And not just to be ready for it, but to embrace it, or at least accept it with love. And what do you do with the things you love the most, or the people you love the most? You become friends with them. You have a relationship with them. And so even death, the worst thing there is, you can befriend it. It's pretty radical. It took me years to be okay with this, but now I guess I am okay with it enough that I'm on your show talking about it.
I love that. What are your thoughts, Bethany, on that particular topic just now?
I actually have a lot of thoughts because I feel like this has been something that I've thought about quite a bit recently because I have a friend, really dear friend, that is battling cancer. And when you have death staring you in the face, like every day, and I mean, it's this roller coaster ride, right? And we've had these many late night teas. Sometimes she can't sleep. And so because I'm close, I'll run over there and we'll have a late night tea party and we'll just talk and we'll talk.
Wow.
And there's been these amazing conversations. I've helped her fill out her, her last, like the 5 wishes before she passes and things like that. And having this like acceptance, like it has been healing for her, but also healing for me in a sense, in the way that
Wow.
I don't consider it like the end ever. I'm like, this is just a see you later. Like everything is just going to be put in place. What we're doing is, we're creating peace for everybody else because we're at peace here.
Mm.
And it's been a really growing thing. So this is a beautiful way to look at it too, is accepting it and loving it. Because I mean, nobody really fully loves it, but do we always fully love change? We don't at first. We don't. And just going through this process has really changed my perspective on a lot of that.
I love that concept of accepting change, because whether you like it or not, you change every day. And every 10 years, you have a whole new body, don't you?
Yeah.
Because that is the evolution of us. I got to tell you, a lot of people cannot accept death because they're terrified of it.
Yeah.
But how could you be terrified of something you don't even know or have ever experienced?
Mhm.
So for me, I'm not afraid of death. I'm afraid of not living a great life. That's what I'm afraid of, right? My brother died at 42. And 2 weeks before he died, he was in the hospital. And I was able to speak with him. And he actually told me something. He told me he was good. He accepted what was happening to him. He had some rare blood something that happened to him. He got poisoned or something. I don't even know anymore. It's so long ago. I just every day when I come out of my bathroom in my hallway, his picture's there, and I see him every day. He's never left me, but the impression he left upon me was that he was okay.
Yeah.
And every time I see him, I remember how funny he was. He's probably one of the funniest people I've known my whole life. But he was serious, and he would get angry, and he would do all these things. But the funniest things is the way he made people feel. I'll tell you a quick story if you guys are okay with it.
Oh, yeah.
He used to embarrass his wife terribly. He would make believe he was retarded. Like, she would take him shopping to the mall and he didn't want to go. So he would, as soon as they entered the mall, he would make believe he was somewhat retarded, and he would start throw his arm up in a little weird way, and he would do that the whole time. And she would be so embarrassed that eventually she stopped asking him to go to the mall. So, but he did it. And then, but he had a great time doing it. He didn't do it to put somebody down who had a disability. He did it to get at her. But in the process, he was very hysterical because he actually acted as if he was handicapped and not fully there. And he acted like a tiny little kid. And this is this grown man running around being silly and foolish. But it was those moments that I was never there. I never saw him do it, but she used to tell us about it. And she's still part of our lives, right? And he died many, many years ago. And the fact that he was so silly and so foolish and so willing to do whatever it took just to get at somebody made him beautiful. So, but the fact
That's
that he
awesome.
also said that he was not afraid and that he was okay with it, it really made me think about death differently.
Hmm.
Yeah. I think when you have like close death, so I had my my grandma when after I got divorced, moved back home to Idaho. My whole life was like explosion, all the things, right?
Right down.
But my parents had my Swiss grandmother living with them, and she was 93 or 94 at the time. Swiss people live forever. I don't know if you know that, but they do. They do.
I've heard
All
that.
Swiss people. Yeah. It's because we like chocolate and cheese. Anyways,
That's good luck for me.
vitamin C. It's our vitamin C, pretty sure. Side note. But living, coming back home and living with her for these end years of her life and being able to take care of her and having my children experience her was the most beautiful thing that I could have ever done, because they got to understand that death isn't scary. Golly, I might cry, guys. That death isn't scary. That death is actually really beautiful. And it wasn't, it wasn't fun. It wasn't amazing to go through, but it was time. And the lessons that are learned and the memories that we get to carry are things that don't ever get to go away. And I think that we have this idea sometimes that death is it. It's so final and all that's gone. But it's not. Like the things that carry on, the memories, the lessons, the wisdom, those things get carried on forever. And actually last week I did my podcast on ageism because it's so important that we have these lessons that these elderly people teach us, and it's beautiful. And I learned that when I got to go through this experience of her end life. And it was just my mom and I with her when she passed. And I will never forget just like, the last breath and looking at my mom and the feeling of, if you've ever been in the room when a baby is born, there's a special feeling. There's still that same special feeling when somebody leaves.
Yeah.
You can feel it. And it is a beautiful thing. It's not a sad thing.
No. I've been there for my kid's birth. So it is a beautiful thing. It's the wonder of life. And then when somebody does pass, it's also the wonder of life, the wonder of their life, the wonder of the impact that they had on you. And so when I talked about earlier that I'm not afraid of dying, I'm afraid of not living, that's what I meant. That I want to impact as many people as I can who are in front of me in a positive way, in a positive light. And I think that if we can take every day like that, it's why am I here? What's my purpose? And how can I be divine in my purpose?
Yeah.
Love that.
I'm interested in talking about that. I want to go back just a little bit to what Bethany was saying about the death of loved ones, and also Sifu, what you were saying, because one thing that I've learned over the years, having been hospice chaplain and reading and just being around this, is that your death can be one of the greatest gift, if not the greatest gift, that you offer to your family, because the way you go is the way you'll be remembered, right? The picture in the hallway, the tear that comes down when you think about family, like these are the gifts of those who've come before. And for us, back to what you're saying, Sifu, about living life now, right? Like there is an end in mind, and maybe it isn't the final end, right? But there's at least an end to whatever this is, this life. And why don't we focus on those priorities that we say we have? And hopefully we do, right? But I think this can be clarifying to actually say, you know what? At my funeral, I want them to say this about me. Well, then I better act that way, right? In my obituary, I want this to be in print, well, then we better do those things.
Mhm. Here's a thought. Has anybody ever considered writing their own obituary?
Yeah, I actually tell people to do that. And for the listeners, give it a try. It's quite the experience.
It may even change the way you live your life.
Yeah.
If you want to be remembered a certain way, right?
Yeah.
I gotta say, Seth, I'm enjoying your shirt. Tell us about that a little bit.
Oh yeah.
It's rustic. It's cool. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it's a shirt. It's styled in like this ancient Syrian style, right?
But I thought,
You can't see the bottom, but it goes long. It's a real long shirt. It's called a Corfu. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. But for me, it just kind of evokes like the ancient nature of where we've been and where we're going. There's I don't always wear clothes like this, but I like to put it on when I'm in this role, right? Because I think it kind of unites me with like what has been and what is and where we'll go. People are changing styles all the time, and this one is certainly a style, right? But what does it mean that somehow it's modeled on what people were wearing when they were tending sheep, when they were growing grain, in their backyard, when life looked a lot different than us talking to each other across the country on screens, and just and maybe in a sense hold that like what has come before leads up to now and impacts what is happening now. I have friends who are from Asia and from like some from the Pacific Islands, and they talk about the 7 generations before us and the 7 generations after us. And others talk about this too, right? But what we do is in one sense connected to all that, right? We honor those who come before. We set up what is good and hopefully what is right for those who come after. And so even just something as simple as kind of a unique shirt, hopefully reminds me and then those that I'm engaging with that this is longer than just, my 70, 80, 90 years. This goes beyond me.
I'm glad I asked.
That's amazing. Because, culture, traditions, wisdom, those are things that are carried on. Those are the things that are, kept and told. Hopefully. Now I feel like that's something that we're losing a little bit, but I mean, those are the things that we want to hold on to and carry on for the next generation and the next. So that is beautiful.
It is beautiful. When we think about change, right? And you talked about it earlier that some people, Bethany, you talked about people are afraid of change. And who wants to remain the same anyway? I mean, really? You want to be, you may want to do the same thing, maybe eat the same food because you're comfortable. But I think that when we get too comfortable, we forget how we got there. Right?
Yeah.
It
can go on both sides.
Went back, right? Imagine if we all went back to kindergarten. We had no idea what we're drawing today or what we're doing or what snacks is going to be there. So I like to think of life through the eyes of a 5-year-old. Because that's sometimes people tell me to grow up. I'm like, what for? I said, I don't think I want to, right? Yes, I will do the mature things because people expect that. But in my eyes, I see everything as an opportunity for growth, for fun, for enjoyment. Absolutely. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Bethany.
Oh, no, you're absolutely fine. I think it's interesting because this all has to do with how our brains are wired. Because change is interesting in the fact that if you have, let's say that you are in a very not good place and you're just living on autopilot and you're just dealing with things,
Mm.
you can't even imagine change.
Right.
Change isn't even in your radar. Right now, you are on, wake up, eat. What are the basic things I need to survive? And then, keep people alive if I have to keep people alive, go to bed, repeat. I mean, you can't even imagine a life with change, right? Because that is your life. And I think that the reason why is because it's kind of like Stockholm syndrome, right? Like we just get so stuck, especially if we're in a trauma cycle, that we can't even think about change. We are on survival mode only. It's the difference between a growth mindset and a fixed mindset. This is where change comes in. And a lot of people are in that fixed, I must survive. I must just keep going. But then you have the other side where change, I feel like there's this balance we have to play, because I've seen this on both spectrums. You have, I need to change something. I can't control anything in my life. Something has to change. So now I'm just going to purge all my friends. I'm going to delete all my accounts. I'm going to do all this so I can create this change so I can control. So change can be both spectrums out there. So it's about finding a balance that is going to center you, that you're going to, yes, you need to take care of all the most important things, but you have to grow too. Because if you're not growing and you're staying stagnant, you're just slowly rotting. I don't know how to say that. You just are dying. But not in the good death way, the bad death way. Anyways, but yeah, so it's a really interesting topic, because when you talk about change, depending on where you're at in life, there's two complete spectrums here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If we think about change, right? We have no control of our age. We have no control of the days. Today may be Friday. We can't stay in Friday. Didn't we just have Groundhog Day the other day?
Yep, February
Wasn't
2nd.
it February 2nd? Wasn't that the same thing? And Bill Murray, what did he want? He desperately needed change, because the first time it's like, okay, this is happening again. And then afterwards it's like, I already know it's going to happen. So if there is no change and you know exactly what's going to happen, man, are you going to be bored out of your mind? Right? And think about technology. Technology moves at the speed that we never imagined before, and it's only going to get faster, right? We all say that AI has been around for eons, but in reality, we haven't experienced AI till the last couple of years, maybe 2 years, maybe. And so now people are able to go and talk to an AI and get a response back like that. And before, it was all Google, right? Google was our AI for a while, or Bing or whatever, and you would ask a question and it would come up. And even Google said, wait a minute, we can't stay the same. Blockbuster wanted to stay the same. Guess what? Aw, Blockbuster's out. So do we remain the same and expect something different to happen? No. So let's not live Groundhog Day. I know Bill Murray didn't want to.
No.
Well, every day before us is a day that we don't get back, right? So it's a day that we need to, in some ways, release, or it will stick with us and hold us down, right? And so a lot of times along with that, there are parts of those days or weeks or months or years or decades that are holding us back, holding us down, things we're still attached to that they're dead and gone already.
Mm. Yeah.
You know, I like to take this perspective. A lot of people will say, you know, you have 24 hours in a day, 7 days a week, so 24/7, right?
168 hours a week.
There's 168 hours. Yes. And you take away sleeping, right? That's hopefully we're getting, you know, enough sleep and we're sleeping 58 hours a week, hopefully. You know, and then you take away, if you work a normal 40-hour job, which, you know, I know a lot of entrepreneurs don't, but there still is around 72 hours left. And if you break things up into hours, that's 72 hours of complete autonomy where you can choose. That is 72 hours of, I mean, you have sleep already taken care of, work is already taken care of, so you have important things gone. So you have 72 hours. That is 3 full days to choose. What are you going to spend your time on? What do we spend our time on? Are we growing ourselves? Are we taking that time to make changes within ourselves? Are we, you know, growing with our food, our health? Are we growing, you know, with our relationships? Are we growing? There's so many things that we could do in those 72 hours. And what are we doing with them? So many people say they don't have enough time, but we have the time. It's just, what are we doing with it?
I do my best to have a 36-hour day, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Teach us how to do that.
It's implementation, right? Taking control of your time. Because when you don't control your time, somebody else will come and they will kidnap you and you will have no say. And so for me, it's about being intentional with my time. Who do I allow to even come in? Listen, my fiance says to me, show me your calendar. Because she wants to put time in. She's a smart girl, right? She's like, And then she goes, what are you doing here? What are you doing there? What are you doing there? Let's go do something together. And I'm so happy that she does that because she wants to spend time with me. And I'm very gifted that she does, because that means that I am wanted. I am desired. That fills my heart. So for her to ask me for my calendar, and so many times she'll go, can we do this? And she goes, I know, you have to check your calendar. I said, yeah. I said, but you know what? Sometimes what we need to do is more important than what's on my calendar. So I will go ahead and cancel that appointment or this or that or the other, not because I don't value them, because I value this more. So we have to be intentional with our time. And so many people don't. They wake up and whatever the day's coming, whatever's going to happen, let it be. And therefore, are you living the life worth living? Or the life that someone else wants you to live?
Yeah.
I feel like I have to be very intentional with my time nowadays. It's very much so like, I think once you start having kids leave and they're growing up, you realize how short time is.
Oof.
And so, I mean, it's not very long. And so, you know, 4 of my kids are young adults and the other 2, 15 and 12. And it's like, now, you know, all these things will wait. Like things can wait, because the wisdom, the memories, the lessons, the time, those don't wait. And those are going to be the most important things that they're going to take with them when they do leave. I was actually talking to Seth before this happened, and Seth and I were talking about, you know, just kids. And it's kind of crazy. Like, yeah, he's had to adjust everything, but he's here, but he still's taking care of his daughter, you know, and those things are beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Seth, if you can share that you said yes to being on the show, and then your daughter's sick, and you're like, oh, how do I handle both? And you even said at the beginning of the show, my daughter's in the other room, she's a little bit sick, so I might have to leave. And if you did, we would 1,000% understand, right? Because family is super important in for both Bethany and myself, and most people watching. I said most people because there's some people who still need to put family first in their lives, right? So tell us about that, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I mean, it was a game day decision when she woke up this morning and she vomited, right? So that's the reality of having a 6-year-old. And
Mhm.
also, when you're 6, your aim isn't good. She told me, she said, "Dad, my aim's not very good." So, it didn't go where I would have wanted it to go. But again, right? So then it was, okay, my 8-year-old, my 6-year-old, 8-year-old's feeling fine. 6-year-old's not. How do we get them into school in a way that's safe for everyone and hopefully safe enough for my car, right? And thankfully it was. But then how do I set her up well in the other room where she has activities, where she can do what she needs to do and just rest, recuperate. And then I can be present to you as much as I can be, right? Knowing that like I have an ear listening just in case something happens, right? So it's that balance, right? And anyone who has any relationships knows that balance where it's I have these objectives and priorities and goals, and then I have these other ones, right? And sometimes I think about it as like breadth versus depth.
Mm.
And so like the breadth is, all of those daily activities, the clients and the outreach and the operations and right, all the breadth that goes into the life of a business person, an entrepreneur especially. And then there's the depth, right? It's like those deep relationships, those things that are maybe more important to us, like you said, Sifu, like the family, you know. And at the end of our lives or even along the way, right? Like we can take stock in both of those, and both of those are wonderful and good and hopefully life-changing for us and the people around. And at the same time, like how do we balance those in a way that's right for us, right for our values, and as much as possible, right for those that we're with.
Mm. Yeah, without a doubt, without a doubt. I think that a lot of times we look at our young children. And Bethany, I'm with you. My son is going to be 25 the 20th of this month, right? And I still remember him being born. I remember changing his diaper and playing with him and and the cutest little feet. They're not cute, they're bigger now, right? But they didn't change. And sometimes as parents, we're like, oh God, I want you to stay like this. But even they don't stay that way. They change. And if you think about life has stages, right? We go from a baby to a toddler to all the way until we get to an adult. And for those people who are afraid of change, they just got to look back at their own pictures when they were a kid, right? How did they change? Puberty, all the different things, their friends, schooling. They went from one grade to the next grade. So it's a matter of fact of even reflecting back into our own lives. How am I so different? Why do I think differently than I did when I was 10 years old? Oh, wait a minute. Because I know more. So why do I know more? Because I learned, because I grew, because I understood. So it's about understanding where we are, but also where we're going. And I think when we can understand that, we can understand that change is something that we do have to befriend. It's something, and I have somebody in my life who hates change, hates it. What do? I change constantly, right? And including in my own physical business, my customers walk in and they're like, "Oh, what's different here?" And one of my other customers who knows me, who's been with me for many years, he'll go, "It's seafood. Things always change." So we have to do that. We have to impact our own environment, I think.
So in Montessori terms, because I'm just basically an adult Montessori teacher, is really what I do now. But in Montessori terms, they are called planes of development. And we go through these planes of development because of our environment and because how we're developing and because of the capacity that we have to learn certain things. Because we do have to learn, these things a little bit at a time. You think about a child, they literally think we are magic. I mean, they do. Because you can take your shoe and take these two shoelaces and just go do, and it is magic. You just tied your shoe. They think we are magic. But as you grow and as you change and as you gain wisdom, you see things differently. You're able to see that, oh, there's a pattern. Oh, there's things I have to do for that to happen. And then you're ready for the next thing. And then you're ready for the next thing. But this is how we were designed to work. And it's once we're past the third plane of development, we have the capacity to become stagnant. And when you become stagnant and don't have that change anymore, it's when you stop growing. And that's when people feel stuck, overwhelmed, anxiety, like the new pandemic of the world. And that's what's happening. And a lot of the times we don't realize that we're the creators of it.
Oh, yeah.
We've created it.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, the only change we can really do is the change that's internal, right? Outside of us is cause and effect and influence and all those things, right? But once you're at that plane where you can be stagnant, like only you can change you, right? And even the things that are coming at you, it's your interpretation of those things that influences your thinking and influences your reaction, right? And so it's really so much about the internal work, that I do in my coaching in Bethany. I'm sure you do in yours. It's about like digging down deep so that we can move ahead towards that progress.
Let me share something with you guys before we go on. Take a look. And this is something that's happening soon. Take a look.
The city never sleeps, and neither do the dreamers who build its pulse. From every corner of the globe they come. Visionaries, creators, leaders, each carrying a spark ready to ignite the world. This is not an event. It's a revolution of rhythm and reason. A symphony of minds. A movement of momentum. Sifu Raphael, Lancelot, Jose Escobar. Together they set the stage for brilliance. This is the NYC experience. Mastermind, light up the city. They coming from the east, coming from the west. Knowledge on deck, put the truth to the test. Leaders in motion, hearts in sync, dropping wisdom so deep it'll make you think. They bring stories, sweat and flame, different faces, one shared name. Elevation, that's the sound. NYC experience, mastermind, where purpose is found.
I got to tell you, every time I play that, anybody who has any rhythm in their body cannot help but move.
Because it's a samba. That's a samba. I was like, oh, this is a good samba. You know what Sifu needs is he just needs to have like a little choreographed samba routine to this.
There you go.
Oh, that's it. That's it. Let's get moving. Let's get moving. If anybody wants to join us in Tampa, it's going to be incredible. I just secured an incredible lounge that's exclusive only to our VIP members who are joining us in Tampa. So if you're interested, reach out. It's going to be fun. So let's continue this incredible conversation on change. What happens to people if they continue to live Groundhog Day, day in, day out? And by the way, before we go any further, I do want to extend an invitation to both of you to my 100th birthday party, because it's going to be more of that kind of music, more dancing, more fun, more festivities. But I don't expect you to see this same guy there. It's going to be a more fun guy, a guy who's doing more things, because life is so beautiful that while we are living it, we should actually be active in our own lives. So what are your thoughts on people who want to live a Groundhog Day? Leave me alone. I like what I like, and I want no change.
So I'll go, I guess. So I'm, you see down here, Reverend, right? So I'm an ordained Christian minister, actually. But I think that all wisdom is worth knowing as much as we can, right? In our limited time. And in the Buddhist tradition, right, they talk a lot about how change is inevitable, right? And part of our problem, part of what suffering is, dukkha is the ancient word, is that as things change, it's like almost like we're holding on to the thing that was back there. And it's interesting, you know, it's even blurring in the camera, right? It's because it's not real anymore. It's not what's happening. But it's the people who, as much as possible, can embrace what's happening and let it go when it's no longer around or relevant. Those are the people who can, you know, have less suffering and have more self-compassion and have more energy to do whatever it is they need to do. And so I like to think about it that way a little bit. You know, there's this whole movement happening, and we can hold on for a little bit, but if we hold on for too long, well, the movement's over there and we're trying to be back here.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like to look at this. Oh, I was going to say, I like to look at this because if you choose not to change, there's going to be change. You're just not going to have control over it.
Yes.
Because the world and life is going to still change around you. You just won't, you'll just keep adapting. And what adaptation looks like for people that aren't willing to like recognize that they need to change too is basically loops. You're living Groundhog's Day. You really are. You are having the same triggers. You're having the same reactions. You're getting the same results. Things are happening. It's the same thing. And all that's doing is creating more within your stories. And you're getting more and more stuck. You're just creating more and more stories. And you're just like compounding everything. And you're losing out on opportunities. You're losing out on, well, the world. Because when you don't change, your world shrinks. And you don't have the opportunity to see outside of that because you're still in the mode of, if I don't change, I have more control. But realistically, if you don't change, you've lost your choice and you've lost more control.
Oh, great point. I don't want to lose control. So would that make me a control freak?
No, I would think that that would make you very aware of your autonomy and your ability to choose. And that would make you very, very I talk a lot about intrinsic motivation. When you understand you and you understand your purpose and you're doing it because of you, not because of a thumbs up, a heart, a comment, a whatever we're like searching after now, right? You're doing it because this is who you are. you have more power, you have more control. And that is true change because you have more choice, because you understand that you always have a choice.
Love that. Believe it or not, we have gotten to the end of our show, and this is a great conversation. Bethany, your website is going across the bottom. Tell us why somebody should reach out to you. You have 45 seconds.
Because I'm an adult Montessori teacher and I can teach you how to think differently. Teach you how to really work on yourself inside so that all the other things in your life, your business, your relationships, and things work. Because if you're not okay here, you're not okay anywhere else.
Love it. And I got to tell you, she is a powerhouse. Love you, young lady. You're incredible. And Reverend Dr. Seth, I'm going to put yours up. So tell us why somebody should connect with you.
Yeah. Well, the LinkedIn right there, I try to post daily things that are encouraging, thought-provoking, things about life, death, and leadership. That's actually the name of my company. The website's under development, so check back soon, lifedeathandleadership.com. But connect with me if you're interested in learning more about how to befriend your future, the good, the bad, the ugly. Connect with me just to hopefully walk alongside together to face this life that we have, the change and the things that we hold and we keep with us. So I'm happy to connect, and I'm happy, Sifu, that you had me on. So thank you.
Oh my gosh, I got to tell you, because I do happen to have 10 shows, I'd like you on more of them. So think about that, right? I am Sifu Raphael. It's really easy to connect with me, SifuRaphael.com. Let's have a conversation. And if there's any way I can help you, it'll be my honor, because this is what God has put in my heart, to help as many people as I can in whatever modality that they may need at the moment. So here's the thing, connect with all of us, because we have something important that you may need. Do me a favor, everybody. Share this show with somebody. Somebody needs to know about change. And today, that was the topic. Thank you. Last words, quickly, Bethany.
That we're basically plants and we have to change so that we can grow into something beautiful.
Ooh, I love that. Seth?
You're made in the likeness of the divine, and that's going to carry you through whatever is happening.
Oh, yeah. I love that. I love that. And I'll just say, if you want change, but want to remain the same, you have a conflict. So God bless everybody. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Bethany, stay on with me for a second. Dr. Seth, stay on with me for a second.